Hello, everyone. Nadeem here with PCSN. The newsletter went out, and I got some good feedback on that. There was an article about temperature. It was about how when temperatures are high, the ambient temperatures, that's not good for electronics, and everybody knows about that, right? But the interesting thing is, the problem with computers is, if you are running a computer in a hot environment, it's not going to cause it to crash immediately, especially servers. So servers have a lot of fan and a lot of redundancy built in. So if a server is running in let's say in a server room that doesn't have an AC system, or the AC is turned off over the weekends, what happens is the life of the components in that server gets drastically reduced. So you won't see it immediately just crash on you and die and burn. What'll happen is, if that machine was going to last 5 years, it may last only 2 years before you start having problems. And that's the thing. That's why most server rooms and data centers you'll see are climate controlled. There's two reasons for that. One is to keep it cool, to extend the life of the equipment. The second one is you want to minimize the heat and cool cycles. And this is, back like, I don't know, 30 or some odd years ago when I first got into computers. I learned this real quick. Back then, most of the components were surface mounted. So they were just, they like a ROM chip would just slide in with the pins. It wasn't soldered on. So what would happen is, over time, these chips with the heat and cool cycles, they will work themselves out and get loose in their sockets. And when that happens, you start having weird problems like, blue screens of death, or machines just freezing, or display doing erratic things. Temperature is very important for electronics, and specifically for computers. The problem is, if a computer is running outside of its design threshold, it's not going to just burn and give you issue right away. You're just going to end up reducing the life of that piece of equipment drastically. And a lot of times we notice that equipment in climate controlled areas lasting twice as long as equipment with no climate control, and fluctuations and variations in temperature and those kind of things. And of course, the other thing along with that is environment is important. And when I say environment, not just the temperature, not just the temperature cycles, but also dust and carbon and metal particles. I've seen computer equipment in CNC workshops where little particles of metal would settle on chips, shorting them out, causing weird issues. And some of these things are real hard to identify and diagnose, but you can find them. I've seen water damage where the humidity caused condensation, which then, there were condensation on the case, which dripped down, fell onto the chip. And that droplet that dropped down along the way picked up some pieces of metal, and it just shorted out the chip down below. So weird things can happen. So control the environment where your operations equipment is, and that's important. A lot of times, server rooms may be climate controlled, but I've seen companies where over the weekend building management just shuts off their air conditioners or something like that, and nobody knows, because nobody's monitoring the temperatures after hours or on weekends and things like that. Especially the top floors in multi-story buildings, they get really hot. So that's what that article was about. And yeah, you can run equipment, and I've run them in attic spaces and stuff. It's not going to die on you right away, but it is going to drastically reduce the life of that piece of equipment. So that's it for today, everybody. Today is Wednesday already. Time flew quick. Till Friday, everybody, have a great day, and be safe out there.